Greetings, gamers, and welcome to the 200th live stream from the MisfitGamersStudios. I am your host, Vortex, and this is D&D Discussion. 200 episodes of D&D Discussions. That's absolutely insane. And we have a very special one today because not only do we have another homebrew review for you, we have something coming from Kosmyc, Path of the Einherjar. This is going to be a Norse mythology warlock subclass, and I'm very interested to see that. But it's also extremely special because on this 200th episode, we have review number 100. This will be the 100th reviewed item or submission from our community. So really excited for that. It's been a crazy long 2 years to get us here, but we are finally at the number 100 review. So let's find out what Kosmyc has with Path of the Einherjar. I'm always interested to see new warlock subclasses, especially if they come with their own patrons, just because I always like bending a little bit more of the narrative when it comes to warlocks and getting more out of them. So let's see if we can find, let's see if we can find out exactly how we feel about that. Yes, number 100, review 100. And I mean, it's definitely been way more than 200 live streams. I mean, I definitely think we are probably in, you know, the 300s.
Sure, yes.
But yeah, when it comes to D&D discussions, the topic, 200 D&D discussions.
Yeah, man.
Absolute insanity.
It's wild, but I'm super hyped for it. I always love Kosmyc's builds. They are always the most creative and out of the box thinking that I think I've seen on the reviews that we do. But they're
usually very detailed. We get some very detailed things
and very unique ways of approaching things. So, you know, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. So, we will see what we have here. I don't think we have anything else right now. Community stream last Saturday. If you haven't seen it, you can go check the VOD channel.
Out the VODs, man.
We got a whole bunch of showcases from Desmar that we got to go through.
Yep.
No, I think that was it. I think we just got mainly through a lot of the showcases.
But we also reviewed, you reviewed a little bit with me, some of the stuff you talked about on the Friday before.
Oh, right.
Intermittently between there.
Yeah, some of the extra builds and extra topics that we had. And then I'm checking the polls channel right now. I know we had a couple extra votes come in, not very many.
Sweet.
But I did get a little bit of feedback, which is nice. I mean, you know, some feedback is, you know, still feedback.
Sure.
It would have been nice. You know, with almost 100 people, it would have been nice to get more than 3 votes. But hey, you know what? Feedback is feedback.
Fair. All right, give me one moment.
Yeah. So no major changes from that. November's community stream was already awarded or already achieved. So we will be setting up a day for that next month. But other than that, we will get right back into this review once Kage returns. I'll go ahead and actually set us up. So, bam. All right. All right, and then Kage did let me know that we had a little bit of a note here for anybody not familiar with it. But the Einherjar, in Norse mythology, the Einherjar are the spirits of brave warriors who died in battle and are taken by the Valkyries to the Hall of Valhalla. Their name can be interpreted as those who fight alone, though they live and fight in a collective army to prepare for the final battle of Ragnarok. The Einherjar feast nightly and are healed of all wounds each evening to continue their training. So that is a little bit of a note that Kage gave me on what the Einherjar are originally from, at least their source material. So we'll see how much, if any, of that plays into the build itself once he gets here. Would it be better if I did that? What's going on, Serotonin? Hype indeed. Welcome. You got to at least experience a little bit of D&D Discussions episode 200 and our 100th community submitted item review, or community submission review. So welcome. Happy to have you. It's going to be a fun day. We're just waiting for Kage to return, and then we will begin our review of this otherworldly patron, this warlock subclass, as it were. I am curious to see exactly where this goes, because I'm somewhat familiar with Norse mythology in some respects, but there's a lot of the fringe details that I'm not. So I wonder how much of this will be something that I recognize, and how much of this will feel almost educational for me, and how much it stays true to the source material, or if it is just a inspiration thereof. We'll go back here. We'll wait for Kage. So we did talk about it on the community stream this weekend, and Kage and I are thinking of establishing a contest, a homebrew contest. So we're going to run on the details, but we have an idea for something, a prompt for everybody to go in on. We'll give you guys some time to build it, to submit them, and then we'll do like a really special stream where we'll go over all of them. We'll cast a vote, audience will cast a vote, kind of like how we did Subclass Showdown, where we'll each get a vote, audience will get a vote, and then we'll try to do at least, 3 events. So it's best out of 3, best out of 3. So, best out of 3 votes and best out of 3 events. And then at that point, once we do that, we'll award a winner, and then we'll do something. There'll definitely be like a reward. We're probably thinking of like a cash reward or some kind of prize rewards.
Sure.
And then we'll have to do some sort of like I guess we could like have like a section of the website that just posts like contest winners or something else like that.
That would be cool. That would be very cool.
We're thinking about doing stuff like that soon.
I've even got an idea now. I don't know if I want to.
All right, well, type it up, and send it to me, and we will get those, because I still have to figure out time and how long we want to give everybody, and how we want to do the payout. But we'll figure that one out. All right, well, now that you're back, let's get started. So today we have the Einherjar, the otherworldly patron or a warlock subclass coming from Kosmycpurge, and as always, we will start with our description. Your soul has stood at the threshold of eternity, death's door before you, your breath fading. But the door did not open. A celestial sentinel stood guard, key in hand, and turned you back towards the living with purpose unfulfilled. You walk now as a soul reborn, tethered to the halls of heroes and chosen by a Valkyrie who holds your fate. Through death, you were reforged, neither fully mortal nor truly gone. As a warlock of the Einherjar, you are bound to the afterlife's warriors. You are bound to the afterlife's warriors and serve as both harbinger and herald of the fallen. This is kind of interesting that didn't we just go over a Reaper type something. Aren't we just discussing? I thought we were just discussing this. Like, I thought there was another subclass that was very much akin to a connection with those that helped passage you on. I thought that wasn't that last week. I swear last week's was. Oh yeah. It was the veneer. It was one of the subclasses.
Yeah. Oh,
their
whole sub races.
The whole thing about them was they were here to learn to be. They were here on the mortal plane to learn about the people, so they could be better.
These were the ones with the apples.
Yes. Okay.
I remember.
It's very interesting that we're getting this theme recently. Okay.
That's very cool, though.
I like it. Okay. So this is also very similar to that one, giving me kind of Deva vibes, right? The idea of you don't know what was your past, but you know of your past. You know the overarching story that you're here for. So right now is not necessarily your, big moment in time anymore. Like what your life was is different, and now who you are has a completely different path ahead of you.
Okay.
So I do like those kind of playing with those kind of backstories, the idea that you were no longer what you once were. So let that go.
From this, what would you consider? Are we saying that the Einherjar itself, like those type of entities, are the patron of this particular warlock? Is that the vibe that you're getting from this?
Cosmic said that it doesn't really have a specific patron. It's more that Valhalla itself is essentially like your patron.
Okay. So just for everyone's clarity, I had no idea what the Einherjar even were. I didn't even have an idea of like what foundation that came from. So I put this little note in here.
I read that when you were going.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. I started out with that to give us some time, just so we could start all on the same page.
Fair enough.
So it's very interesting. Now, the one thing I am noticing here is I like the lore and I like the details, but I'm a little bit, I guess I'm not, it's a unique way to do warlock, because normally a warlock is someone who lived and got to a point that needed to be given this, this power. And essentially this is, you are put into this world with this power. So it's a much different approach to the warlock patron relationship and just the vibe itself. So it's almost kind of like, in my feeling, this is almost akin to like the warlock version of an oath.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not so much a deal as it is just you are an embodiment of something greater.
Sure.
On the behest of something else.
Okay.
Path of X is traditionally a barbarian formatting. Interesting.
What's that?
I guess the naming structure, Path of X, is for barbarian.
It is.
So. Promised Land patron. That could be interesting. Like the Promised Land patron could be just the name of it instead.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
I kind of like that.
I could dig. Yeah, I could definitely dig that. Thank you, Codex. But yeah, so overall, I'm digging it. It is just, it's flipping the concept of the warlock. Actually, this is more leaning into what paladins used to be. You know what I mean? Almost this like warrior of a deity, because the Valkyries choose you to like go forward. So yeah, very interesting vibe. I'm digging the change of the expectation. Right? It's not like you've met a Norse god and you've made a deal. This is like, you died doing what you do best, and now you have learned that you are here for something even greater than what you were.
Got you.
So I really like that play on it.
I still like that this is 2014 Warlock, so this is something that basically no matter what, you get this at character creation.
Which makes a lot more sense than you would already have.
You're starting at level 1. So it's very much along those lines. So okay.
Yeah, I'm always one for changing up the expectation in the narrative and giving us something a little bit fresh. All right, so we have a pre-class prerequisite or subclass prerequisite. This isn't very common, but I do enjoy them. It definitely gives me old school, like second edition vibes.
Right.
I do like having the idea that kind of like it really just calls to the same concept that we've talked about before, where a class is more than just what you can do. So the idea of prerequisites always kind of also set you up for being in line with the type of character that would go this direction,
sure.
Right? So I don't mind those at all. But for the subclass, in order to take the subclass, you must have died at least once and been returned to life either through backstory or during play. So
like if you want to multi-class into this.
Interesting. So if you want to take this up later, yeah, you'll have to have died in order to multi-class into it, or you'll just have to have it as part of your backstory. It's integral that you died. Now, it's interesting because while that shouldn't change any drastic amounts of gameplay, I do like that touch of lore. You know what I mean? Because if you think back to my constant reference to something like this is always the Deva. I used to like playing Deva. The concept of you've lived 1,000 lives and you're just on the next one to gain generalized knowledge and move on.
Sure.
It's a fun creature to play because if you play it in game with that knowledge, it's not like a metagame character. It's just more of a character of I'm not as concerned with this mortal body. This is all just for the experience, and I'll just cycle again. So I kind of like that, more carefree aspect of explore the world and don't worry about the consequences. But that's really kind of it. Other than one special ability, I think it's like Memory of Through the Ages or whatever, where you get like a benefit to like history checks or whatever.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a cool little feature, but it doesn't really, you can basically anything. You could just be a David. I kind of like that this idea has this really double down aspect of you had to have died because the whole purpose is you had to have met a Valkyrie in the afterlife that stopped you from progressing and said you have to do something more.
Got you. Okay.
So yeah, I like really going in on that. And then also we get, upon choosing this subclass, your Constitution modifier is capped at a +2, even if your Constitution score would allow more. Each time you are revived from death thereafter, this cap increases by 1 to +1, then to +0, or decreases by 1. Sorry, this cap decreases by 1 from +1 to then to +0. In exchange, your spirit form grows stronger, as noted under Spirit Unbound, which we'll get into later. This represents the growing pull of the afterlife and the deepening strength of your soul. That's interesting. So I'm curious how Spirit Unbound is really going to tie into this. Like, how exactly is that going to progress as you've died multiple times?
Sure.
I do like playing with death, especially because with 5th edition, you don't really have anything other than, is this just going to be the end of you in combat?
Sure.
But I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out, because I love the concept of pulling you, away. But the Constitution modifier, I'm not sure how impactful that one is. I love this concept. I just don't know if the particular penalty is going to be.
That particular penalty will fuck with your health.
Yes, it will mess with your health.
Because if you start off as a +2, great, you get that +2 for every level. Every time you increase in level, but then you'll get added onto your health. Every time that goes down, it retroactively removes that health cap.
Oh, it's retroactive. Is that how they run it?
If you lose a Constitution modifier, your health cap goes from whatever it used to be down by 1 for every level you have. So if you're at level 5, you just lost 5 hit points.
Gotcha. See, that would be different. I thought it was just from then there out. Going retroactive, I feel like that's a lot more hurtful. Now again, I'm not because
this just means you're gonna die more often.
Yeah, and then that just means it's gonna tick down faster. And I'm not a stranger to that. The idea behind losing levels, losing permanent life, those kind of things, I'm definitely not afraid of, and I'm a fan of in some situations. But it's almost like, yes, this would affect your life more, but is that going to have the feeling that this subclass is trying to go for? Like the afterlife.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? It's almost as if like it would be a countdown of death saves. Like every time you die, you lose a death save.
It almost feels like, and this could be what he's going for, but it almost feels like you're getting closer and closer to being more permanently attached to the afterlife, right? So it's like it's not necessarily like you're in limbo, but like you've been bouncing back and forth between the afterlife and this mortal playing. And so it's like you keep going there and they keep sending you back. You keep going there and they keep sending you back. And it's like every time you do that, it's getting harder and harder for you to go back.
Right. That's why I'm like, that's the feeling I'm getting. But how does that equate to Constitution when it equates to how easy it is to kill you? That's why I'm thinking, like, if it made sense to be like, for every death you have, you'll gain an automatic death save fail.
Oh, interesting.
So so I come back to life. I'm now this thing, right? The first time I die,
sure.
if I make all 3 of my death saves, I've come back, but the next time I die, one's automatically failed.
Right.
And then if I die again, 2 have already automatically failed. So I only have 1 chance to come back. That would make way more sense, especially in this case.
You would make more sense, but it'd be way more detrimental because then you'd only get 3.
Yeah.
And then you're just gone forever.
And you might be able to tie in some other way where maybe, you know, like, you still get resurrected by your teammates or whatever. But
sure,
that feels more like this concept of every time you die, it gets harder to get brought back.
Yeah, I do. I agree that.
I mean, even starting out, like you come back starting out with 5 death saves.
That would be interesting if you got like a bunch more death saves than everybody else.
So this would say you come back and by choosing the subclass, you have 5 death saves, but every time you come back from making death saves, you will lose 1 permanently.
Yes.
Until you have only 1 left, and then you will remain at only 1.
Okay.
So if you keep making it every time you make it, you're fine.
I like that. Once you hit 1, like you start off with 5 and then you come down to potentially only 1
or 2, whatever you want to balance
I like
that.
1.
But
I
the fact is you can always come back. It's just that you don't get to keep struggling. The struggle has been if you're not ready to come back.
I kind of like that. I
think that would be my approach to it, is instead of the Constitution modifier, because Codex also made a good point in having something like this, capping your modifiers. It is kind of a big punishment. Now, again, Codex also mentions this. We haven't seen what the Spirit Unbound does, so we don't know how well it balances out.
Sure.
But it is a big ask to cap something like that only will go down.
Now,
and we also don't know the severity of gameplay that these people are expecting, right?
I will say the biggest thing is it doesn't say your constitution can't go higher. It's just that your bonus
your modifier is capped.
Your modifier.
That's why you could have a 20 constitution, but you'll still be capped at 2.
Yes.
And that's where I kind of get where Codex is coming from, and that's where I think, like, with the spirit of the verbiage, with how this is explaining what's happening, I think the idea of giving 5 death saves, because you have a Valkyrie protecting you, right? The idea is that when you die, the Valkyrie's there to be like, get the fuck back in the body. But every time you do that, the fight gets harder and harder.
I will say this, especially because it's not actually changing your constitution score itself. You know how when it comes to, in 5th edition, your armor class, when you're wearing like armor, your dexterity bonus gets added to your armor, right? Yeah. But if you're wearing medium armor, that's capped at a 2.
Okay.
I feel like that should be like whatever, as we go through the subclass, I'm assuming there's going to be something that is going to be at play with your constitution modifier, which is why it's important to limit it to a 2.
And that's why we're not exactly sure what we're going to
I think that whatever it does interact with in the subclass, it should limit the bonus limit to whatever it's interacting with instead of your entire modifier.
Gotcha. So you can still have a 5 modifier. You can still have a 4 or 5 modifier,
so
but you can only use 2 of it.
If you're having a concentration spell, it's not going to affect your constitution modifier when you're making concentration checks.
Right.
If you're doing something to, like, say you're drinking alcohol and you're like, hey, you need to make a constitution saving throw, it's not going to affect that element of your constitution, because you should still be able to imbibe alcohol just fine. You should still be able to
because that's nothing to do with the death, right?
It should only affect whatever it is that's going to be interacting with when it comes to the subclass specifically. That's how I feel, like, because I'm fine with what it's doing, especially because whatever we're going to actually watch it interact with, but your constitution score itself isn't going anywhere. So I feel like the other elements should still gain the benefit that your constitution would allow.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see how that, we'll keep that in mind. So far my mind is still leaning towards do it on the death saves.
But I do like that.
I feel like that's where the lore is, but we'll see
idea.
Once we get to Spirit Unbound. We really will see how exactly this plays into it, because it would be curious to see how much Constitution is utilized in this subclass too.
Yes.
Maybe there's a big deal of that, right? So
I just feel like Constitution's so underutilized. There's no Constitution checks. There's no actual, like, proficiencies you can get for Constitution. What's that?
It's mostly just HP.
Yeah, that's it. That and concentration.
All right. Well, we'll see what this Warlock gives us. So we have an expanded spell list, as always. most of these look, I think these are all standard spells: Heroism, Shield of Faith, Spirit Weapon, Gentle Repose, Revivify, Spirit Guardians, Death Ward, Guardian of Faith, Raise Dead, and Circle of Power. Those are all standard. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see anything.
Love Spiritual Weapon for a Warlock. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, actually,
my favorite spells, and Spirit Guardians too.
Off the top of my head, all of these are fantastic. I think all of these seem to go well with what we know about the idea so far.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Constitution checks for being a caster too, for concentration checks. So that's the other thing. It being a caster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the big one. Specifically, Spirit Guardians. If I don't get but a +2 to maintain concentration on my Spirit Guardians, like, especially because Spirit Guardians is no good unless you're like remotely in the range of some of these enemies that you're trying to do damage to. So like, I'm gonna want to be able to maintain that as we do this.
Complete random ass tangent. It's gonna take just a few seconds. I now want a subclass that can play around with death a little bit more. Like, imagine a subclass that gets something like, when you choose a subclass, it gets 5 death saves.
Sure.
But you can also use death saves as spell slots. Random ass idea. Chew on that. But imagine if you run out, you could use your own death saves as spell slots. But they would just essentially become automatic fails, right? Like, they just would, you go from 5 to 4 so
would that be permanent?
No, they would reset like on a long rest. But the idea is, in the pinch, you could throw out a couple extra spells, but you're ruining your chance of, if you die, you'll ruin your chance. So just random idea. Let's think on that. I just wanted to, like, because I don't know why this game. I was looking.
Dude, I think that might even be just like a straight up game mechanic. That would be
interesting. Like, you actually be able to use your death saves, or we should write this in the ADMG. Death save economy. Basically, death saves can be used in replace of spell slots, actions. Like, anybody should be able to say,
tap into,
like, I want an extra, I want an extra action. I'm gonna tap into my death save, and you could even put a cap of, you have to be like, within like 10% of 0. It's kind of like that whole.
Actually, I like that,
because you have to pull from the fact that,
and there's got to be a higher likelihood that you're going to need to use those death saves, rather than like, I'm sitting at full health, let me just pop a death save. Yeah, I'm not gonna have to worry about going down or anything like that. No, I like that. You have to be in like the bottom quarter of your HP before you can use it.
Yeah,
I think that's very interesting.
That would be fascinating to do something like that. So yeah, we'll think on that and see if we can put something like that into a working order. Sure. I mean, that's just initial idea out there, but we'll see if we can make that actually work with the proper rule sets. Because I'm not a huge fan of death saves, so anything to make them a little bit more interesting, I think is a benefit.
Agreed.
All right, so good spells. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see any major glaring holes or gaps in the logic of what kind of creation this is, what kind of warlock it is with the spells that we're getting. So no changes there. Moving on to first level, we have Mark of the Following. You bear the invisible mark of one who has walked the halls of death. You gain resistance to necrotic damage.
Fire.
I am 100% down with that.
Love it.
That is, love it. Especially for a level 1, it is a super impactful, but not game breaking. Like, oh, well, there goes half the campaign because, this player is just going to walk through it, kind of thing.
Yeah. I would also, especially since that's all you get at level 1, I would also, at the very least, give them access to the Spare the Dying cantrip.
Ooh, okay.
I feel like that goes right along with the same lines that we've been playing with, like you're out here playing with death and, making sure that, you got Gentle Repose in there. I mean, that's right up the same vein. So I feel like that would help round it out and give you a little bit more to do with what you have, you know, and it's not too crazy.
And Codex, most likely it would be something along the lines of a timer. So it would be like, you wouldn't get it after until like a short rest. So basically it's the idea of you would use one of your next death saves. Like, you basically already get a failure of one of your next death saves. Yeah. And that would last basically until either you were downed again or like a long rest. So that's where the idea, because Codex was bringing up that death saves are kind of infinite. Like as long as you're making them, you're up. You don't only have so many. It's just 3 failures. So the idea of using them and burning them.
Isn't it 3 failures or 3 successes, whichever you get first? Once you get 3 successes, you're stable.
But like, there's no like, you don't use them up. Once you're stable, it resets. But that's why it would be like what we were talking about is burning them. I like what you're saying,
like it resets on a long rest.
Yeah.
Like,
so you would burn one and you would get an automatic failure.
That automatic failure
until a long rest.
Until a long rest, yes.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is it's not so much a finite amount. It's just that I'm going to burn my ability to survive death. Like I'm gonna, burn, part of my soul or whatever. It's just the idea of you're reaching in somewhere to go further, but that is also making you weaker to continue.
Yep.
So I would say that's the idea. Is like, so essentially you could do it 3 times max, unless you were given more death saves, like I was suggesting for a subclass. But otherwise, it would be any creature could do that up to 3 times, and then they couldn't do it anymore. But if they went down, they have 3 failures.
3 times, you are dead until revived.
Yeah, if you go down, if you were to go down.
If you were to get down to 0 hit points or below, instead of like, it needs to be half your maximum, no, you're dead.
And I wouldn't even mind it to just make it worse, is you only get 1 back per long rest. So it's not like every day, if you know you're going up against something weak, you don't just go burn, and just get 3 extra attacks.
I'm not gonna lie,
you can just say that you only get 1 back.
It's almost like levels of exhaustion.
Rest.
You only get 1 of those back per long rest unless you're in like a fully safe environment.
So I think that would be the whole way that would work. But yeah, I love that. I love what you mentioned about Mark of the Fallen. Having Spare the Dying cantrip right now would absolutely make perfect sense. So yeah, that would be my only change as well, especially because we have to wait so long for something else. So then we go to level 6, Valkyrie's Insight. Your connection to your patron grants visions of fate. You gain proficiency in insight and perception if you do not already have them. If once per long rest, if you can use your reaction to grant yourself or an ally within 30 feet that fails a save, a reroll. Okay, so once per long rest, you or an ally within 30 feet can reroll a failed save.
Yes.
That's dope. When you die, your body glows faintly with divine light for 1 minute, preventing it from being desecrated or turned undead. That's not bad.
That's kind of cool.
That's not bad. I don't know if it needs it right here, but I would not mind a later update or an upgrade to this, like somewhere later in the subclass, because I don't think. Oh yeah, they're really once you cast those spells, they just automatically happen anyway. So I was trying to think of like, just would there be any version of this where it's like you're guaranteed to like be brought back if someone tries? But I guess 5th edition doesn't have any failure. For like Revivify or anything.
Yeah, no, Revivify. Theoretically, rules is written. You just do it if you got the diamond for it. Boom, you're back.
Yeah. Okay, so proficiency in insight and perception, and you cannot be turned or desecrated for 1 minute after death. I get that, actually. I really dig that. I wish it would, again, kind of like level 1, I wish there was a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's so good for the entire subclass. Like it fits. It's just almost like, but is that it? Like,
yeah.
Like I don't feel like I feel like I'm becoming more of the lore, but I'm not becoming more helpful.
It doesn't
in the party.
Yeah, I feel like this warlock standing next to like a standard warlock of another subclass wouldn't feel as potent necessarily in what they can do. I feel like a lot of the other subclasses at this point, like the shadow subclass, like you're getting the ability to like literally jump through shadows and do different things like that. And I think you even get your hound at this point. You can like summon an entire like shadow hound to like do your bidding or whatever. And again, I love what this could do. I just, it would be interesting if you could like, whenever you down an enemy or something, like you're able to do something with like their soul or something like that. It like invigorates you in order to be able to like, I don't know.
This could be a cool crit option. Maybe only for a crit. Whenever you crit an enemy, whether you down them or not, that would be for discussion on how powerful it can get. So that's the optional. But whenever you crit on an enemy, like they basically have what they would be given one failed death save for 24 hours. I know most DMs don't roll death saves for creatures, but some NPCs and some big EGs do.
Yeah.
So if you had that where if you crit on them, whether or not they died, like you damage them so deeply that for the next 24 hours,
they have until they take a long rest, they have a failed death save, just like you would potentially use one. Yeah.
Just being able to do that, just at any point being able to inflict death save options, or basically make it to where once the person hits 0, they are down. Like you just basically lock them out from coming back. Codex had an interesting one: switch or flip level 1 and 6. Make one a little bit more hefty with being able to help people reroll, get proficiency, and don't be desecrated. And then at level 6, get the necrotic resistance, which kind of falls in line with other resistances that you get later.
Sure. Yeah.
And at that point, even spare the dying would also make that level 6 even more beefy.
Sure.
And then you can even add one more option there to make level 6 a little bit better.
Kind of like the idea of like if you took Eldritch Blast, your Eldritch Blast does necrotic damage instead of force damage.
Right.
I think that would be cool. Just again, it doesn't always have a huge effect, but like I would also love it if like any necrotic damage you do, you get to add your charisma modifier to it on any spell, any cantrip, anything. Just making it a little bit chunkier.
Yeah.
Making you a little bit scarier, making you feel like you are death coming for somebody or whatever.
Yeah, radiant damage does make a little bit more sense for Valhalla and being against the dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, having radiant damage makes sense too. Yeah, I think those are all fine as alternatives, but yeah, I think all of them are just trying to solve a little bit of a beefiness problem. We're kind of wondering, is this all I'm getting? It all fits. Nothing's wrong with what we're getting. It's just, could we get a little bit more? I think is what we're all feeling just so far. But now we get to level 10. Now we get Spirit Unbound. This is where hopefully it should really come all together and help us understand a little bit more about what I'm hoping that this is going to explain why we chose to have that -2 or that cap on charisma,
right,
or constitution.
That
cap on constitution modifier. I'm hoping that this brings that full circle, because we've had that up until now.
Yes.
So let's find out at level 10 with Spirit Unbound why that all mattered. So when your body falls, your spirit rises. When you are unconscious making death saving throws, your spirit form manifests as an incorporeal echo. Your body remains unconscious. Your spirit acts each turn using your normal initiative. Your spirit can raise from your body as if standing from being prone, using half your base movement. You may move 30 feet and make one action, an attack or a cantrip. So while you're making death saves, you get to continue acting while in combat.
Okay. And you do both move and make an attack?
It can rise from your body as if standing from being prone. So the first round, it will have to use half its movement.
Sure.
But it has a speed of 30, and you can take one action, either a cantrip or an attack.
Cantrip or an attack. Okay.
So attacks and spells, they deal necrotic damage only. Again, I think Radiant would be a good option as well. 1d6 plus your charisma modifier. Use d20 plus charisma modifier to hit. Ignore proficiency bonus. Half the damage you deal adds as a bonus to your next death saving throw. Okay, so you deal damage.
Interesting.
Okay, if you take damage as a spirit from an AoE spell such as Fireball or terrain such as Spectre Growth, your next death save is at disadvantage, but you keep any bonuses. Okay. It's a little clunky in terms of the mathematics, but I understand what we're trying to do here.
So any attack or cantrip I do does a d6 plus charisma, period. Then use a d20 plus my charisma, ignoring any proficiency for my attacks, I'm guessing?
Yeah, to hit them. So you do a d20 plus charisma to hit, you deal a d6 plus charisma, and then you get half that added to your death save.
So whatever damage I do, so that d6 plus my charisma. So if my charisma is a 5 and I roll a 3, then I got 8. I have that, and I get to add an additional +4. Or I get to add a +4, period, because you don't get any bonuses for your death saves.
Correct.
So I'd have a +4 on my death save. Okay.
Oh, that would be interesting if the... Well, yeah, so it does say that if this thing gets hit at all, then your death save will have disadvantage. But it doesn't say that it has any HP. So I would specify how much HP the ghost has. Or is it,
Well, I mean, it's only there until it's basically life for 3 turns.
Okay, and I guess it's going to force disadvantage. So if someone targets it, it's going to enforce you into disadvantage. So that makes sense. Okay,
so maybe it just doesn't have HP. It's just a spirit, but it is affecting you and your ability to stay alive.
Right. Interesting. Okay. So let me finish it off. So visibility: only creatures who reduced you to 0 hit points or those with true sight or see invisibility can see your spirit form. Okay, so that also makes it different. Spirit growth: each time your Constitution modifier cap decreases, the spirit's damage die increases. D6 when con mod is at 2, D8 when it's at 1, D10 when it's at 0.
This is where I think that correction needed to be made. So it says each time your Constitution
cap decreases.
So every time you die, your cap is gonna go down
which
by
means
1.
which means your spirit's strength is gonna go up.
It's gonna increase, yeah. So when it is at a 0 of, so it's at a +2 right now, and
so at 2 it's 6, at 1 it's 8, and at 10 it's or at 0 it's 10. So at 6, 8,
yes,
10.
yes. At 0 it'll be 10, and now, so those are minuses. Those are supposed to be pluses. That was the typo.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was going
yeah.
Because at a +2 it'll be the smallest it'll ever be, a D6. At a +1 it'll increase to a D8. At a 0 it'll increase to a D10.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, can it go into the negatives? Because theoretically, if your Constitution modifier is low enough, if your Constitution score is low enough, your Constitution modifier will be a negative.
So if you're saying if you ended up somehow tanking your Constitution by one mean or another, and you had a -2 to your modifier, should this continue increasing the die?
Yes, it would only be able to go up 1 more. So once you get a -1, you can make it a D12, unless if it becomes a -2 for whatever reason, it's a D20.
Yeah. Or I would say, personally at that point, I kind of like the D10. It gets a little ridiculous trying to do that, but I would say,
you could just increase the number.
Oh,
of
I guess
D10s.
true death is if you had a con. So Cosmic is saying true death is if you had a con mod of -1.
Oh, that's according to the subclass. That's what he's saying. Okay.
So con mod -1, that is you are dead. You do not get to continue.
Got you.
That.
Okay.
Because it's your fight, right? It's the fight for your spirit.
Sure.
That's what you need. That's interesting. Okay. So overall, I love the idea. So being able to continue doing stuff while you're making death saves, I think is a phenomenal opportunity. I think we don't see that enough. There's not a lot of places that you can invest that, right? Like you can't really put that with any other class.
Sure.
But it's great here. I love that concept. Whenever you add in if-then type of mathematics into the game, it does add a level of complexity that can get it can get in the way of gameplay.
Okay.
Because when you're doing this, not only does everybody have to remember that, but the thing pops up, then you have to do these different 2 attack rolls, but you have a specific, then you have to do the specific 2 attack roll with, this specific logic between you and your DM. Then you do your damage roll, but then you take half of that, and then you add that to your next death save. So it's like, it's a lot of things to happen. Yeah. Whereas I feel like, especially with 5th edition, there's got to be an easier way to, like, honestly, this goes back to what we were talking about before, was it definitely should be on the death saves. I love that this is utilizing that aspect of the death save, but we already have that, if your spirit gets hit, it goes into disadvantage. So why isn't it that instead of the damage that you deal, why isn't it that if you successfully hit, you can get advantage, right? So if you're actually able to do an amount of damage, or your ghost is able to attack, and if it downs somebody, you either get advantage. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Rework it to where it's a little bit more straightforward and less on the math, and not changing up specific mechanics that may or may not, vibe with how people want to run the game. Because it's always just weird to have to explain to someone why your subclass changes the main rules.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I just feel like that would come up a lot of no. But see, I attack with a D20, So that's different. And then I'm gonna, you know what I mean? It kind of, there's usually a way to make it a little bit smoother to where it's like, okay, I'm down, but my ghost is gonna do that before I make my death save. My ghost attacks. Okay, this is what I get. So let me do my death save and then move on.
I think what might be simple enough is plenty of other subclasses will do this. Just create a little sub character sheet for this spirit form and let everything that it does be on that little character sheet, or that little, you know how you have like a lot of the subclasses, like you can summon a pet, right? That pet will have its own stats. Give this thing its own stats.
Yeah. And then just put it in its attack, what its attacks will do.
Exactly. Like simplify it that way. Like, yes, I get this, but like looking at it all here, it's like I gotta read through here, I gotta figure out what applies to what. And if I just like, when I go down, this thing comes up and I can use it, right? And I still have to, it's still my turn. So this thing is just acting in place of me on my turn. And I still have to make my death save at the beginning of my turn. My DM's not gonna forget that, And so like it would just be, I feel like that would be able to simplify its execution rather than the way that this is kind of put here, like displayed. So I mean,
I like the overall ability. I think the idea of being able to continue doing something and get a benefit in your death saves with your ghost, I think is a phenomenal concept. It's just the way that it's trying to go about the mathematics is just a little bit stuttery for a smooth game.
Sure.
I mean, even second edition had problems with that, where a lot of combat was bogged down, right? There was a lot of issues with that kind of stuff. And so having experience with that, I can see that happening here, where that's going to be a bog down in the system early on.
It's weird for me because so far I feel like this is kind of the bread and butter of this subclass. Like, this is what this subclass does. And for me, that feels kind of bad that you don't get it until level 10.
Codex did make that point of having a con cap for 9 levels, and your, all the chances to die. You may never get to really use your ghost by the time you get here. Like, your ghost may already be at a D10.
Especially because you're only allowed to go down 3 times.
Exactly.
Full stop.
Yeah.
If you go down more than 3 times, you never get to come back. Like, you don't get to get resurrected. You don't get to do anything. Like, you're just gone. You're off to Valhalla.
Because, like, I mean, honestly, you could have put Spirit Unbound up here with Mark of the Fallen. Like, you could have put it with, you bear the mark, you gain resistance to necrotic damage, and you have Spirit Unbound. That should have been the starting point. And then I could have justified it. Because again, even at that low level, when are you going, like, it's going to take you a couple levels to die, to get, or maybe you die right away. But at least you're going to be able to use it. You're going to be able to begin upgrowing your spirit growth immediately if you die, instead of this issue where you could have died already twice by the time you even get to use it.
Sure.
And then it opens us up to, if this was along with Mark of the Fallen, and then you got Valkyrie, which may, which would be, great for being able to help your buddies and everything, that opens up level 10 for something even greater or an upgrade to it, right?
So here's what I'll say. I think that there should be something in this class that allows you to increase your con modifier back up. Because with this subclass just has a half-life. Like, I can't imagine anyone in this subclass ever getting to level 20. Period. Like, imagine you're not a player, you're just this character that's chosen this subclass. I can't imagine any character that's not in this subclass getting from level 1 to level 20 without dying 3 times. Like, I would imagine there's got to be something you can do to reinvigorate your spirit, to re-give it back the thing that it has, so that it can continue doing what it's doing here in the mortal plane, right? Make it hard, make it challenge, make it not something you can just snap your fingers and do whenever you want. Maybe it's like a ritual or something that you have to do over a couple of days, or maybe you have to do something consistently over, like,
I could see it, like, how creatures or bosses will have like a 4, resets on a 4/5.
Sure.
What if you had it to where every time you reformed with your ghost, so you go down, your ghost pops out, does your thing, you re-roll your saves, and when you pop back up, you and your ghost reform. What if you made a roll every time you and your ghost reform? And every time you roll, you have a certain number that will let you charge back up.
Oh, interesting.
So every time you go down, you're going to lose one, but you always have a chance to get it back. And then
you have
go
a chance
down
to
and
get some back.
And maybe it's only one at a time. So like, let's say the first time you die, you go down, you make a good roll, and you get it. So you don't go down, you still have the 2. But then the next time you die, you don't get that roll when you reform. So now you have only a 1. But the next time you die, you do make the roll, so now you still have a 1. So it's never adding, but it will be a chance to not lose it.
Got you.
That could be an opportunity there, is so that way, because again, then your ghost would never weaken. Your ghost would always continue still scaling with it, but you're preventing it from happening every time you die. I feel like that would be better.
I do like that. My question would be, okay, if I'm thinking about if I can never actually gain one and I'll only ever lose them, but sometimes there's a chance that I won't.
That you just won't lose, and you're just prolonging the inevitable.
It'll prolong the inevitable, but that means that either, again, I could only last to level 5,
sure,
or so maybe give an opportunity to, like, at early levels, stick with that, but eventually gain another get the ability to gain one, and like, okay, and I would even like the idea, like, at a certain level, your cap increases from 2 to a 3, and then you could go up 1. Maybe you can increase your damage.
I mean, I don't know how difficult you want to make the criteria, but something along the lines of every time you reform, you have a chance to prevent losing 1.
Sure.
If your ghost took down an enemy or downed an enemy this round, gain 2.
Oh, interesting.
So if while you were a ghost, your final thing took down an enemy to 0, you're actually going to get a +2 instead of a negate.
My instinct is too complicated.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
my instinct is like, whenever someone goes down, you get like a die to roll.
That would be simpler. That would be way simpler.
And then when you roll that die, if it hits whatever it hits, then you get the thing.
Yeah.
So, but like, again, you could do a million things, but
so I'm going to say this. Overall, I like Spirit Unbound as a concept. The idea of being able to continue long after you're down is amazing. I think it's coming in too late. I would love this in the beginning.
Sure.
And even that point, you could even add it. You can make the con mod start at 3, so it's a little more forgiving.
Sure.
And then you could start at a D4. Your ghost could start at a D4, and then D6, D8, D10. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways to make this feel good. Even a D6, I don't mind it as if you're level 1 and you die and your ghost is out throwing a spell or a punch, let it have a D6.
Fuck yeah. I mean,
I'm totally fine with that.
You're not going to be there for that long. Like I said, you only really get like 3 or so turns to do that. Maybe 5, but at the most, it's going to be out there for a little bit. It's not going to be doing like stupid amounts of damage,
Yeah. And then that's the other thing too, is once your team, if you have a really good team, the idea of them healing you, stabilizing you, giving the help action, basically you die, your ghost pops out, but before your next initiative, you get helped. Well, your ghost goes back and you're fine.
Sure.
But you still lost a constitution. You still lost the constitution point, even though you didn't even get the benefit of your ghost. So that's a little bit metagamey, or your character in-game would be like, don't resuscitate me. You know what I mean? Like, but there is that gameplay of, if I'm going to lose it regardless, and I won't even get to potentially benefit because my team's there with auto heal, then I'm going to lose it for no good. And that's where, if you have a chance to not lose it at all, is good. And then again, if there's another trigger to get you to gain one later, anything like that, I think, or again, just anything to trigger a roll, like a roll of a 6, and on a 5-6 you gain one, and then something like that I think would be fine.
I'm also thinking, I know we have one more level to go through, but late game, a D6 is not doing much. A D10, a singular D10 plus your charisma modifier is not doing much.
Yeah.
I would think that, like, maybe you get a number of die equal to your not proficiency modifier, but like, I don't know, like, I want to say like every 5 levels you get to add another die, kind of like cantrip. Yeah, oh, there you go. You get to roll a number of those equal to however many cantrip dice you would have at this level. So if you're level 10, you get to roll 3 dice. If you're at level 5, you get to roll 2 dice. If you're at, whatever. It's every 5 levels it goes up.
I would totally be fine
die.
with that. Yeah, the scaling would be nice, a little bit more damage, because this is early on. It would be fine, a single single die.
That is what you're doing. You can attack and you can do a cantrip.
One or the other. You can do one.
Exactly, one or the other, but they're doing the same damage. So like, might as well just...
And the cantrip is just to make it ranged.
Yeah.
So I would like to up that a little bit, and I'd like to see it earlier. I just think that this is the bread and butter. This is why we come to this subclass.
Yeah.
Getting it so late and having
I love this ability. I love what you can do with it.
Right. So having such a detriment and getting this ability so late, as great of an ability as it is, I just it's wasted on being so late. And if it was put up to level 1 with the same first level ability, that opens us up to having a whole extra 10th level ability. Which I wouldn't mind, I like that. I like the idea that we're playing with death saves. I don't know. Just there's so many different ways that you could play with this, but realistically speaking, it could just be that you get this earlier, and then every time you died, it's like, I know that it's supposed to be like every time you die, you go down to the con mod and the die goes up, but it's almost like I'd want the number of die to also go up, because again, just a singular die going up in value isn't really going to be as,
and I will say,
impactful.
I get why they didn't tie it to that, because again, if that happens to you at and you're level 3 still, if you die 3 times and you're level 3 still, now you get that many dice. You get like 3 dice at level 3. Like that could be game changing. Like, take me down a bunch just so I can have these. But
that's
dice.
your last time you can die.
Like, exactly.
But and that's the thing is, this is only good if you can die.
Yeah.
Once it's at its powerful, you also know it's never coming out again. It's going to be its last hurrah.
And that's the other thing about, again, having it grow like that. You get to use each one of those dice one time. With the way this is currently set up. What
I will say though is I kind of am thinking about like how this would progress. Part of me wants the capstone to be that I can summon out my ghost freely during combat.
That would be kind of cool. Maybe at the cost of a death save or something like that.
Yeah, like that would be kind of cool. But yeah, I really like this. I think this idea of playing with being able to have action economy during death saves is absolutely phenomenal. It's something that's drastically needed in some capacity, but I just think that, again, we're at that point of, is this just needs to be beefier. It's nothing as we're getting it outside of the complexity of the math. It's not like any of this stuff doesn't fit. It's just a little bit of a rearrangement and add a little bit more.
Sure.
And this thing would be just juicy to go after. Yeah. But I feel like right now I'm just feeling like the concept is amazing, but the delivery is lackluster. And I just feel like I'd have fun more. It's like I'm having more fun thinking about this concept than I would be playing this concept.
Sure.
And I think that's where it is. It's a great idea, but we just need it to be a little bit more playable and more progressive.
Fair.
But let's find out what we get at our capstone at level 14. So we do get hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Your faith in fate has hardened your spirit. All charisma checks are made at disadvantage. Charisma checks, interesting. We haven't met a lot of charisma checks that we made.
Checks?
Yeah.
So that's deception, persuasion, performance, and some other shit probably.
That's an interesting. The con mod only decreases when you get the 3rd failed death saves, being a true death for any other character. If you are downed, you get healed, stabilized, like a cure wound. The con mod doesn't decrease.
So going down isn't what decreases your con mod. Being dead and getting resurrected is what decreases your con mod.
So you have to, so that definitely needs to be adjusted in the verbiage to make that make more sense.
Okay.
So it's only when you make 3 death saves in general.
Adjust this in my mind to see how viable this is across, because like I can see if your con mod doesn't go down, if it's just when you like die and you have to get somebody to cast resurrection on you or revivify or something like that.
Yeah. But apparently, because you wouldn't die, you can just be normally, I guess, stabilized
Somebody
or
who
healed
just
later.
heals you back. Yeah.
Yeah, which kind of does take away the threat of death saves, but you still need to make them. And if you fail all three, your character will remain available for resing or bringing back.
Sure.
But that's the point that you're going to lose your Constitution modifier.
Okay. You know, I'm.
No, but that brings almost the exact opposite to the point. You know, you said, what's the likelihood of someone making it to level 20 without dying 3 times?
Sure.
Valid. What's the likelihood that you're going to fail 3 death saves more than once? Because usually that's a campaign ender. Like, it's supposed to be the unlikelihood of that happening more than once or twice in the campaign, because, you know what I mean? Like, those are tense moments.
I will say,
but 3 times?
the second I hit 5th level and I'm in a party and that party has a cleric, first thing we're doing is going to find diamonds so that we can be able to use the revivify spell if we need to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, certain times, like, if you like come across a dragon, you know, you want to run, but they can still fire breath you.
But I'm just saying, for a single character going from level 1 to level 20, like I said, like you said, what's the likelihood that they're gonna die 3 times and fail 3 death saves 3 times? Like, that's what it means. You pointed it out correctly. Dying or going down to 0 hit points more than 3 times at 120, totally viable. Like, you're gonna do that more than 20. But how many of those times that you go down do you realistically think people are making 3 failed death saves?
First of all, it very much depends on the gaming group you're with, because there are probably a lot of gaming
you do
groups
get
out
disadvantages if your ghost gets hit. It would be you would get a disadvantage. So there's a likelihood increase that would happen. But I'm just thinking that now more than ever, because of the increased unlikelihood that those would ever, like, again, those things to happen,
I could see it being a scary enough option.
I'm just thinking that it needs to increase even more so now. Like, it needs to power up even better now, because the idea that I have to fail 3 death saves to lose a Constitution point to upgrade the ghost, by the time I get to the 2nd or 3rd death with that condition, you know, with failing 3 times, how late in the game is it going to be? Like, this thing needs to be doing way more than a D10 by the time I die.
Yes.
That's what I mean, is like, if we are going off this factor of it's even harder to proc this thing, it needs to advance way faster.
Hopefully the simple addition of giving it cantrip scaling with the number of dice that you use.
Yes.
I think that should be simple enough.
That would be fine.
You know, because if I'm at level 10 and I'm doing 3 dice worth of damage, I'm comfortable with that. Even if it's a D6, right? So if I haven't like been dead, if I haven't needed to be resurrected by the time I'm level 10 and I'm only doing a D6, as long as it's 3D6, I'm cool. Where's my over here? Let me actually confirm that it's every 5 levels. I'm pretty sure
that also makes sense though. Good point, Codex. The nerfed aspect of how little damage this seems to be doing is because half of it is supposed to go into your death save roll. Remember, it does damage, and then you take the half of that, and then it increases your chance of succeeding a death save.
Yes.
So with that math, there's a reason why
that is true.
So it's not really there to do anything. So
it's really just to help you survive longer.
Yeah, which
not
to
really
be fair, kind of. I don't know if that really solves the problem that this was trying to was set out to solve, which is while you're making death saves, you're not doing anything. But it's like, yes, this kind of is doing something, but really all it's doing is doing a minute amount of damage in order to improve your chances at a death save. Like, that's really what this spirit is all about. Is it's out there to stop you from rolling low on your death saves.
Like, it really depends. Again, going back to like the lore aspect of it, of like how we're trying to represent what this is. If this is more of, hey, the spirit is coming out to guard your being to ensure that you don't die, then sure, let's keep it like that. It's just there to help you survive longer. And then as soon as you can get up, it's gone away, and then you're back up and you're in the fight, you're doing the thing. But if it is really your spirit out here trying to participate in what's happening and be a part and still be a part of this battle, even though you've gone down, like the barbarian has a subclass where they can rage beyond death. So where they're making death saves, but they're still up, they're still in the fight, they're still doing stuff. If if you're trying to fill that role, then very much so. I think we need to like.
I think that's the thing is we're trying to figure out what the role is actually trying to do. Is it just purely to help you and give you that benefit, or is it trying to be more helpful and impactful while you're down? Because the premise that I thought this was for is it's boring to just make death saves on your turn. Sure. So this gives you one more thing to do.
Sure.
But if the focus is it gives you one more thing to do solely to improve your death saves and not really one more thing to do to benefit anybody else, you kind of got to think on a metagaming level, you're asking for more time to only benefit yourself. And in that particular case, I'd much rather it do something where, kind of like what Codex was saying, the ghost is just you. It just acts as you. It can do like spells that don't require material components, only gold cost, things of that sort. And then I wouldn't even mind it that it gets all of your normal, actions or whatever. And so, for every like successful hit, you get a +1. Like, I wouldn't mind something passive, but if we're just adding the person gets to do more and benefit from potentially not dying outright, I don't know that's really solving this idea of it sucks to just make death saves. Because honestly, I feel like it needs to be more impactful in the game and not just for the person who's waiting on those death saves. Because I get the idea, right? I get the idea that it sucks to just go, oh, I succeeded, that's my turn. It'd be nice to do more, but if all you're doing is to improve that role, that's not really a cohesive idea for why would I bring this to a party. This is really just to make sure that my character doesn't die.
Again, the whole concept and the whole mindset, because with this in mind, when I think about this, when you successfully make all your death saves, guess what happens? You just stay on the ground unconscious. You don't get anything. So I think I like the idea of, if this is really meant to be like I have this connection with the afterlife and death and stuff, and like this element of my spirit is out there fighting in my place, if it is going to be the situation where it's just there to keep me from dying, I would love it if whenever I make all my death saves, I at least get to come back up. I at least get to like come back to consciousness and continue to be a part of the fight, cast a healing spell, do whatever I gotta do. Like, that would make it better. Otherwise, yes, I get this cool spirit that comes out for 3 turns and then I stay unconscious. Yeah, because I'm still down. I made my death saves. I'm not dead, but I am incapacitated, unconscious, and unable to participate. So if this is really what I'm trying to do here, if this is really what is supposed to be happening,
yeah, I think you had it too, that the ghost really needs its own stat block, because Codex is kind of hitting on a couple of good points too. Like, we don't know how much HP the ghost has. So is it just indefinite? Now, granted, not very many people can see it, but those that can, or AoE effects, when the ghost, I like that when the ghost gets hit, instead of like where when you get hit, you take 2 fails, auto fails, at least when the ghost gets hit, it's just a disadvantage, which I'm totally fine with. But like, so the ghost is impermeable to death.
It is,
like, it will just stay alive.
Its lifespan is limited to the number of death saves you actually make. Meaning, it's only going to be around for 3 rounds, period, full stop. Yes, it's got infinite life. You can't kill it.
Well, it could be more. Technically, it could be up to 5, because you have to make 3 successes. So it's up to 5 rounds that it can survive.
Up to 5 potential rounds of combat, right? Just for you making these death saves, right? But again, like, that to me, especially at this level of damage, it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
Like and especially because it's still tied to you and your life, because theoretically, you're down, this little thing is out here, somebody can still come up to your unconscious body and stab you and give you 2 instant death saves. And that ghost will go away in a second as soon as you're gone. So I personally, I do agree it needs a stat block, but I'm okay with it not having health. I'm okay with it being just being a target to affect your body, and being incorporeal. Like, I don't think that's too game breaking. It would, again, it's just like the barbarian. Like, they got no hit points left for you to hit.
That's it. Yeah, just taking, and that's totally fine for me too. That's just, good points being made by all parties too. So just trying to wrap our heads around this. Yeah, it's very interesting. I still think it needs to be. Yeah, I think having it earlier would have been better. Still.
Yeah.
But also, so going back to this 14th one, right? So you've hardened your spirit. All your charisma checks are made with disadvantage, which I'm still kind of lost on that one. I don't know why your charisma would be affected. But however, when you succeed despite the penalty, the success counts as a critical social triumph. So it acts as a crit. So you get a penalty, but all successes are a crit. Gathering information, trust, or inspiration beyond what a normal check could yield. You've learned to expect misfortune, and fate rewards your perseverance. This doesn't feel like a capstone, and it doesn't feel like it goes along with anything we've seen so far. Like,
I agree, and I just don't know exactly how that would really work.
It's a complete roleplay. It's only beneficial for roleplay. A roleplay capstone feature does not work in 5th edition. You know what I mean? Like this is only good for when you're talking with people, because you're always at disadvantage. But when it just happens to work out for you, it's a crit success. That to me is almost like that should be a rogue feature or a bardic feature, right? That should be a feature.
Bard, yeah.
Like that should just be a feature you can choose where you have this weird charismatic tendency to where most people you're put off by, but the people that like you, damn, do they really like you. But this doesn't feel like a capstone. That feels like almost like a trait or a flaw that you'd put on your character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely don't know if I could justify this. I mean, if this is in general, like what you just had starting at like level 1, again, I could see this as just being one of those weird role play things.
Sure.
Because it's just for social concept, right? Like critical social triumphs. And it's only charisma checks, so there's nothing in combat.
Yeah, honestly, this would not.
Except for what did Codex say something about counterspell? Yeah, in 2014, counterspell is on charisma. That's what Codex is saying.
So, as far as I know, when you do counterspell, the only check you ever need to make is if when I cast counterspell, I cast it at a lower level than the spell that I'm countering.
Codex said that the spell casting ability check.
Do you mean 2024? Let me look at his comment.
They're saying 2014.
So 2014. I will pull up the 2014
because charisma is the warlock spell casting.
Right. That just identifies your spell save DC.
This is all stuff that this part of the conversation goes beyond my expertise.
Okay, I'm gonna read counterspell. You attempt to interrupt a creature in the process of casting a spell. If the creature is casting a spell of 3rd level or lower, its spell fails and has no effect. If it is casting a spell of 4th level or higher, you make an ability check using your spell casting ability.
So
right?
charisma.
So that would be you're rolling and you're adding your charisma modifier. Now, I don't know if that means you also add your proficiency bonus or not, but it says the DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. So that's what I was saying. Like specifically, if I cast a lower counter spell, I want to roll higher than so if it's 10 plus the spell's level, then at a 5th level spell, it's a 15 that I have to beat.
And Codex saying, yeah, that makes it a charisma check for charisma casters.
Charisma checks, ability.
Yeah, it's one of those gray areas that I guess not my expertise.
I guess, but even still, first of all, you're not getting counterspell until your 5th level. So getting this at 1st level is not going to help you specifically with counterspell.
No, yeah,
but when you do have that, okay, so you have advantage. You have advantage on that roll. That would be kind of clutch. It also wouldn't really fit necessarily this build. Why specifically that you?
Yeah,
but that would really be the only place that really helps you. And even if you did succeed. Wait, no. It would say you have disadvantage on that.
Yeah, it's disadvantage.
Okay.
Which is why when you succeed, it counts as a crit.
Actually, counterspell is a warlock spell. It is a warlock spell.
So you would have to have that. You would basically be rolling counterspell with a disadvantage. So
yeah.
So I will say that I'm definitely underwhelmed by this capstone. Like this capstone seems more like a a feature that I would want to choose or a flaw. It doesn't seem like a capstone. It seems just, it doesn't do anything. Like by this point, I don't think that gathering information, I mean, unless like you're in an information heavy campaign where you need to know all about the BBEG, but that's not going to be the average gameplay, right? By now, people are going to want to hit heavier, hit harder. This doesn't even upgrade the ghost, which I'm kind of surprised at. Like I would have expected the ghost to at least get like, you know, more damage die or something like that. Or make it easier for you to make your death saves. Like, you know, just some kind of bonus there.
I'm curious if, I don't think it really says anywhere. I'm curious if the ghost, say if somebody casts fireball wherever this ghost is.
That
would that
imposes your
ghost
disadvantage.
Would the ghost get to roll at all?
No, it just, if it's part of it, it mentioned that when it gets hit by any AoE like fireball, it just automatically gives you the disadvantage.
Oh,
to your death save.
Oh, okay.
Whenever the ghost gets hit, period, especially by AoEs, it will render you a disadvantage. Okay. So we do have one more thing here. We have a DM optional rule. Let's see here. So we have Mythic Secret, Horn of the Fallen, DM optional rule. Upon your final death, when Spirit Unbound would lower your con mod to -1, and the spirit die to a D12, or the spirits die to a D12, your body or any remains transfer into a Horn of Valhalla imbued with your soul. The horn's rarity depends on your level at death. It may be used once to summon the fallen and possibly you among them as an Einherjar returned for one less battle. Range for your summoning is secretly chosen by you and your DM. If disintegrated, your soul is pulled into the horn before destruction, manifesting as a faint red light. That's interesting. I don't mind that kind of flavor. I think that's definitely more like setting specific kind of stuff. So I like it as an optional rule. I like that that's there to give a unique perspective and inspiration, but it definitely is a good optional rule. I don't mind that. I think that's kind of cool. Kind of like that idea of like you can still be summoned even though you're dead if it's close to the end of the campaign.
Right.
All right. So with all of that, so this thing, I think this thing started out really strong. I think that the idea behind it was amazing. I think the idea of fighting for your ability to not only stay alive, but be able to be useful is the concept that we all want. I do think that this is a subclass that we want. I think that as it stands, it's just not going to stand up to a lot of the other subclasses and a lot of main campaigns. I think the thing that this thing suffers from the most is just not being as beefy. I really just think it just needs a little bit of a bump. Other than that, there are some things that reorganize.
Yes.
I think there's just mainly the second
top-down
issue.
View looks beautiful, to be honest.
Yeah, everything together works.
And it's just the progression. It feels like it would be hard to actually want to play through all the way.
Exactly. And that's where I'm thinking is it's progression, it's beefiness, and then the final thing is just its complexity. Like the type of complexity I don't feel like this is adding to the gameplay or the experience. I think it's trying to solve legitimate problems, but I think the way in which it's doing it isn't adding to the game or the experience, right? None of the other players are going to get additive from any of this, right? This is all based on, I have my ghost out, but don't worry, it's only to make sure I get back on my feet and at best at 1 hit point, which I could immediately, and that's the other thing too, that this doesn't take into account. You do all of this stuff and then you come back at 1 hit point and then you go down immediately again and this all resets. You could technically go down 3 times in one combat just because every time you stand up, you're at 1 hit point. Mm-hmm. And if the combat runs that long, or if you have that, if you have an AoE issue,
nothing that gets you to 1 hit point with this subclass. It's always somebody else having to heal you and actually pull you back up.
And if you're in a really, really difficult fight, if you get hit and you automatically get 2 death saves, and you go to because that's the other thing, right? So let's say you get 3 death saves, you lose a Constitution. You're still making death save, I'm assuming, until you get back up. So can you just consecutively lose?
No. So
once you've made 3, then you're stabilized.
Once you've made 3 successful ones, you're stabilized.
No, but in this one, it's once you've made 3 failures, you lose the Constitution. You're not dead.
No, you are dead. So you have to get revived.
But you're not true dead. You just need some. Oh yeah, you just need outside help. You no longer can get yourself back up.
You need resurrection. You need something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I think that's another. again, all of it top down looks amazing. It's just that when you get into the fine tuning of it, it's just a lot of if then. And while that's not a bad thing, I'm not sure who's benefiting outside of the situation. Like the situation's beneficial, right? I go down, I have this thing, it's helped me make my death save so I don't lose my constitution. Cool. But everything else outside of that mechanic sounding interesting, who's benefiting from all of this? Like who's really, like, again, this warlock isn't strong enough to justify keeping alive. And what I mean by that is like the whole thing about this is to keep it up and keep it alive. But all it does is get weaker. Even its ghost only gets stronger to help it get weaker. Mm-hmm. And at some point, there's no reason to say, when you look at a top-down view of a whole party, why is this cleric getting back, or why is this warlock getting back up? Why are we worried about this cleric, or I mean, the warlock getting back up with the ghost? Like, it's just one of those things where, okay, you got back up, you survived dying. Is it worth getting you back up to 1 HP?
Yeah.
Can you, based on this subclass, can you really, sure, you might be able to save yourself, but what is the party getting out of it, right? You're not getting yourself back up. You're only helping the death saves. You're taking time away from the next person's turn just so you can help yourself with the death save and do a little
economy to actually get you where you're at.
Yeah, and just for a little bit of damage. Like there's just not enough going on here to justify it. The lore is all complete. The ideas are there. The abilities all work together, but I don't know what we're working towards. I don't know what problem this is solving, because even for the person playing it, even me, I don't like the idea of death saves. It does kind of suck to be like, okay, I made my roll, move on. It sucks to have that quick, but I don't think this is going to make it any more fun for me to be like, okay, I make 1 cantrip. Okay, cool. I get 2 extra points on my roll. Now I rolled. That's my turn. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel tactical. It doesn't feel beneficial to the rest of the team. And I don't think that 1 extra attack to modify my roll is going to make me feel like this subclass is it. Like we've solved this problem.
Sure.
Everything is there. The idea, the concept, it has so much potential. I just think that we're kind of like on V1 of it, to be honest. Like I feel like this has such a bigger potential. I wouldn't look at this as a finished. Yeah. I'm not sure I would see this as a completely finished product just yet. But the idea is phenomenal. I cannot stress that enough, that it is addressing, I think, something that is one of those bottlenecks in D&D, especially in 5th edition. Just this concept of the whole concept of saving throws, the whole concept of how that situation works, and how still, I mean, in the terms of the of rules as written, just how useless death saving throws feel in general in the game. Yes, They prolong the concept of you having true death, but in combat, they are some of the most useless things, because again, you come back and then what? You're still useless and you're about to go down immediately again. And I think I've experienced that more often, to be honest, where I feel like I've experienced more times of coming up, going down, coming up, going down, coming up, going down in one battle than I ever really have worrying about making my death saves.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more like, okay, I've made my death saves. I'm up 1 hit point. I'm down again. Let's make those death saves. And yeah, maybe having 1 extra attack to quickly go through those death saves, but they're not even making them quicker. I still have to wait 3 rounds.
Yeah.
You know, if this thing could do something where, you know, again, maybe if we added something where the ghost, when it critted, it auto succeeded a death save for me. So I rolled that, you know what I mean? So it's like there's got to be something more here that makes it more exciting than just I have 1 extra action while I'm making my death saves. Because that's all I feel from this, is that's all it's doing, is giving that 1 player 1 extra action during their death saves, and it's not benefiting really anybody.
It's another passive thing, but it was another thing that one of the barbarian subclasses did. They fully removed the material component cost when any revive spell is casted, Vivify or Resurrection or whatever, so you don't have to pay the 3,000 gold gem to revive them. I think that maybe not a full removal based upon what this subclass is, but maybe even like a reduction, maybe make it half, or maybe make it 50 gold instead of 300 or something like that.
Yeah,
like I don't mind that, to make it less burdensome for the party to do that, because again, this is a part of what that class does. Like, it's gonna happen, and it's not, I mean, it's not like it's gonna happen, but it's like,
here's another one for you. So you mentioned, I think a key part about this is like there's no differentiation between failing the saves and not failing the saves. Like, you're still just stabilized. The only thing is that constitution point.
Yes.
One of the other things that we could talk about is you go down, you make your death saves, your ghost is up and it can attack. What I would like to see is if you make your death saves, so if you don't fail out, because if you fail out, you have to wait for someone to come revive you. That's just normal anyway.
Yep.
But when you make them, when you make your death saves, you come back with as much HP as your ghost dealt. Like, you come back with 1 HP and you also have temp HP equal to the amount your ghost dealt when you were down.
Interesting.
So you'll come back, you make your death saves, you come back with 1 HP as always. But if your ghost did 8 points of damage, you get 8 temp HP.
Okay.
Makes you way more beneficial to have this thing fighting for you. And then you come back invigorated, but not revived. You're not back up in health. You're just being given a little bit of extra oomph to stay in the battle a little bit longer, to get healed or to take down the BBG. So then you'll go back down to 1 HP and you'll still be fine. You'll still be alive. You'll still be awake.
Sure.
But that would make the comeback way better. Don't make this damage a part of the calculation. Just say that, hey, I'm going to do 1 cantrip. I'm going to do a D6 of necrotic damage. Oh, I did 5. I'm going to write 5 over here. I do that for 3 rounds. Oh, I did 11 points of damage. I'm coming back up with 1 plus 11 temp HP. Now I'm back in the fucking fight. Like that, I think.
No, when you say you're coming back, does that mean like,
so if you make
like whenever you succeed, you automatically?
So I think that part of the subclass is whenever you succeed your death saves, you always come back with 1 HP. So basically, the idea is you're not dead. So why aren't you conscious?
Sure.
It really doesn't make any sense that if whether I fail or succeed my death saves, I'm still going to be laying there. Because that doesn't make sense, right?
I'll say.
But the idea of if it auto comes back with 1, and I have a ghost, the fact that the ghost could pump me full of temp HP because it's dealing that necrotic damage. It's almost like life. I think
I like your idea better, but the other thought that I had was give that to your ghost. Just let your ghost stay up until somebody heals you.
Oh, so every time the ghost does damage, it gets temp HP.
Every time the ghost does damage, you're doing that same tracking. And then once you've made your final save and you're still alive, that's how much it gets. So before that, it's invincible like it was before.
Gotcha, but still makes you do disadvantage.
Once you
while you remain unconscious but stable, your ghost will stay up as long as that HP.
Much HP.
See, that would be slightly more complicated, but still would work.
Yes,
would still absolutely work.
That's why I was like, I think I like yours better. It's just you go right back into it, and then your party can actually just straight up heal you, and it goes on top of all that. I think that the only thing is other players would feel, I mean, again, this is what this whole subclass does. So like, I don't think they should feel too slighted, but a lot of them would be like, hey, he gets to come up every single time.
But if you still account for the fact of if you still account for the constitution cap, you still account for the constitution drain. As you die, yes, you keep coming back with more temp HP, right? Because the die will go up. First, you can come up with 1d6 HP, 1d8 HP, 1d10 HP.
1d10 for each hit you do. Yeah.
It's only temp HP, so it's only for the battle, so it's more like a second win than anything. It's not like you are still alive, and that can go away really quickly.
It's 1 actual hit point and
all the rest is temp HP. That's what I was thinking is so that's why I think that this subclass, whenever you make your death saves, you as part of the subclass will always come back up with 1 HP, period.
Right.
That's just a feature that you get. The addition is that if your ghost dealt damage, you will gain temp HP equal to that damage dealt while you were down.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it can still feel
like that.
That makes the degradation of constitution better, because it means that your spirit's fighting harder for you to be up, and it fights harder to give you more. But as that progresses, right, the more you level up, the more temp HP you come back with, which is really what you wanted at later levels. But it's not significant. 10, you could get maximum 30 HP. At level 14, that's still maybe 2 hits more. That's maybe 2 rounds, you know what I mean?
Well,
it's beneficial and impactful, but not game breaking. Because again, you still only get that, and it's still, you still have the degradation. If you fail 3 times, then your ghost goes, So I think that there's opportunities for that. But I feel like any kind of mechanic that brings you back is what will help this so much more than just this concept of, because again, there's no benefit for getting your death saves other than not losing Constitution. Right now, death saves now have 2 negatives. Death and the Constitution. But if I succeed, I'm just going to lay there anyway. I'm still out for the count for the rest of the combat. And my ghost goes away. So your idea is great. I'm still unconscious, but now my ghost racked up some temp HP, and now it continues until you guys save me. So that is an amazing option A, because it keeps you active every round while you're unconscious, because that solves a better problem. The problem to me is not the fact that I only make a death save and then it's not my turn anymore. It's after I've made all 3, now the game's over for me because I'm still unconscious. Regardless if I failed or succeeded. But with the ability to have the ghost rack up its own HP and then continue, you could gain yourself potentially 2 or 3 extra rounds for your team to come and aid you. Hell, you could even let your ghost, like, I don't know if you would want the ghost to be able to come and bring you up, but something like that, right? Like if the ghost could literally move to your body and then merge with you as an action, and then so the next round you'd pop up.
Oh, yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. Like, say it did give your ghost the temp HP. Depending on what you're doing with your ghost as it's out there, because you can move it and do other things with it. It has those hit points and it has its movement, and if it makes it back to you, you can come back up. Like that ghost coming back to you. But if that ghost gets destroyed before it gets back to you, then you don't get it.
And it would be great. That's how you get the temp HP. It's not what damage it dealt is. So for 3 rounds, you're making your rolls, and or up to 5 rounds, and it's doing damage to get its own temp HP. Once you've made all your rolls, success or failures, it's now locked into that temp HP it's gained is how long it lasts from then on. If it chooses to merge with you, you would gain those temp HP. So if it takes damage on the way to you.
Exactly. And I think that makes the other statement that they made way more valuable. The only people that can see it are the person that downed you,
or True Sight,
or True Sight. So if you happen to take out the person that downed you, maybe you were really close to killing them and they just happened to down you first, and your echo or your little spirit was able to down them. It's one person that can't see you now, unless somebody else has some special sight,
and you can just sit there and nobody can
mess
temp
with
HP.
You. You can just blast on people.
So yeah, that to me would make this feel so much more interesting, is if I could have some kind of mechanic to come back with, make me more useful, or again, just make the ghost more useful to the party, because right now it still comes out to the same. You do get 1 more action while you're making your death saves, but once you're done, you're done. You're just going to sit there unconscious.
Question. When the spirit attacks a creature that cannot see it, do they know where it is?
No, I think that's why it specifically talked about AoE. If it just happens to be there, it'll take damage. But
like, could they try and hone in on it? So like, if I shoot you from over here, could they see the beam that hit them?
I don't think so. I'm gonna probably say no. I think it's intended.
So if you're just standing here and all of a sudden I just get hit, and there's like no real way for me to like pin down where it is, unless
I could see like maybe blind fighting. I could see some justifications for it, but with the intent of what it's supposed to do,
I'm assuming.
No, granted,
I'm okay with that.
I also don't mind it being the only people that can see it are creatures that took you down with True Sight or have been harmed by it. So that way, once you've taken the creature that took you down, you can get 1 free hit on another enemy, but now it can see you.
Sure.
So then you have to take that one down, and then you can go after the other enemy, and you get 1 free hit. But then they can see you. That solves everything right there, because I don't mind 1 free hit as a ghost. But like you said, once you get hit, you should be very well aware that this thing exists. Otherwise, this is just so, especially a broken concept that if a ghost can just kill without being seen. So I don't mind that being kind of like use like invisibility. You can't be seen unless you damage the person, and then they can see you.
Cool.
But it's only the person that you damage, not everybody else. So just like a real ghost, it would like infect people.
Would you let it hide? Would you let it be able to take the hide action? I mean, it says you can only attack or
I would say that because it's ethereal, you can only put like an obstacle in between. Like you can go behind an obstacle and lose line of sight.
So full cover only.
But yeah, you're not just gonna like, "Ooh, I'm in a shadow now. Be
I'm
like,
ducking down behind this bush.
be like, you're a fucking ghost. I see you. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts. I overall I cannot understate or overstate just how cool the concept and the overall idea is. It's just not doing enough. That's my overall assessment. Is it
Sure.
just it's not worth it. It's not worth to choose the subclass, and it's not none of the things that it can do really seem to lead to not just like it's not really truly solving the problem in my opinion, but it's not solving it in a way that also benefits the story and benefits the party and benefits the game. It's literally just I don't want to make one single roll on my turn, so now let me make two, an attack and then my death save.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, it's not adding anything, and I feel like having an entire subclass focus on just that one interaction is just such a waste. But we've also seen that not only does this have potential as an idea, a little bit of rearrangement. I mean, giving you that 10th level ability right at level 1 along with the first level ability immediately opens up level 10. And we know that capstone really isn't a capstone.
Sure.
So there's so much more to that capstone. So right there, that's 2 later levels that could be drastically opened up. And realistically, if Spirit Unbound got a little bit of a rework, these 2 parts don't need anything, right? So it's really just that. It's just this has so much potential to it. I just don't think that it's adding enough to justify using it to solve the one problem that I really don't think is that much of a problem that this is enough of a solution. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like, yes, you could say it's a problem, but sometimes the solution is more trouble than it's worth. And that's where I think that this is at, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying that it's not a problem, but I don't think that this does enough to justify it.
It says that your spirit can cast a cantrip.
Yes.
What if that cantrip is spare the dying? Then could you cast that cantrip on your own body?
And then if you do that, then I feel like there's a way simpler mechanics to just be able to say, I'm going to cast that on myself. You know, like I feel like it gets to the point to where having that ability kind of ruins the rest of the concept.
That's kind of
because then it's basically an instant up.
Unless because I like the idea that you and I talked about coming back on 1 HP. If you do that, that's when you don't.
Oh, you stabilize.
You just stay down. Your ghost disappears right away.
But then again, when would you ever use that? Like, why wouldn't you want to do the damage? Why wouldn't you want the temp?
How safe are you going to play it?
Yeah.
Hey, I am way too close to whatever. I want to play it super safe. I don't want to fail any of my death saves. I'm just going to spare the dying myself, and I'm going to let myself be boring for the rest of this fight. Like, be not here until somebody can do something with me. Otherwise, yeah, sure, I'll play around with it a little bit, you know, it can always bring me back or whatever.
I know this is completely off topic, like way off topic, but because we're talking about ghosts, it'd be cool for a similar subclass to have the same concept. Like I would love a whole series of subclasses where this is what happens. When you die, a ghost comes out. That should be its own fucking subclass. Just this concept of when you go down, your ghost comes out and gives you bonuses. So one of them should be when your ghost comes out and you make a successful death save, if your ghost is within 10 feet of an enemy, you can possess it for the next round.
Wow, giving PCs possession. That's kind of sick.
Or when you make all successful death saves, while unconscious, you can possess. So like basically your ghost comes out and you can move it around and it doesn't do anything. But if you made all 3 and you're unconscious, you can then...
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of think that should be its own subclass, just being able to possess people, right? Like,
because that would make sense. If you've made all 3 saves and your ghost possesses someone, you can come over and heal yourself. You know, you get attack. But it's kind of like that concept of the ghost would be out, and on your turn you can make a death save and move your ghost like 15 feet. So you basically put near to someone you want to do it, and then once you made all 3, you possess it. So you're still unconscious, but you're back on the battlefield.
Got you, bro. And in somebody else's body, so I don't care if it goes
And
down.
I would do a contested check, so you can't just be like, guys, just kill me. Just kill me. I'll take over the BBEG. Like, you don't want automatic, but something like that would be very interesting.
And it would even be, depending on how powerful, like if it's a minion, yeah, let's let them take over. But if it's like a named hero, let it be a continually contested check, so where they have to make a save at the end of every turn or whatever.
Codex, that's actually a great idea. That's one of the reasons why exactly we put the home brewing channel in the Discord, is for stuff like this, for people to have open discussions about things they've either seen on the review or want to help people out with their builds. I mean, Cosmic always seems to be pretty open to hearing people out. I know that he always tends to have very strong opinions and ideas on their creations, but always willing to at least hear people out and hear what they have to say about it. So I would definitely send anything you have over, because that's kind of the collaboration that we want. Yeah, this is such a cool idea. Like I just want more from it. That's all I can say, is I just want more from it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I want to play it, but in its current state, it just doesn't do enough. You know what I mean? Especially in the idea of not even just 5th edition, just the idea of how campaigns flow. This is just so targeted on a once in a while situation.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like having like what this feels like is if you tried to make an entire subclass built around crits, but at no point did you increase the chance of crits.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what this feels like. Like every level, you're like, if you crit, you could do this, and then if you crit, you could do that, and then critting does this much, and then you can do more damage, and then if you crit, and then you could, if someone else crits, then you can have another action. It's like, that's all great, but critting is still the same chance of happening. So I'm basically just a regular dude until that happens, and that's what this feels like. It feels like this isn't even a regular warlock until you're dead. It just feels like you're a magic user until you die. And that's all I'm saying, is that's where I want more. Is it's like you built up a concept but didn't deliver on the biggest thing, which is, well, why do I never want to die, but all my benefits come from dying, but those benefits are only to help me from not dying.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a weird idea of it's a, I don't want to say it's a punishment, but it's like a downhill race. You know what I mean? It's like you're fighting the inevitable downhill. But what is the benefit I'm getting from it, right? I'm not getting stronger every time I die. I'm only getting weaker. My ghost isn't getting stronger. It's just getting better at helping me not die next time.
Sure.
But why did I choose this class? Just so when I'm dead, I have some things to do? Where's the bigger story? Where's the party integration? That's what I'm feeling, is just like, I just don't know why I'm choosing this, other than I just don't like sitting around on that.
Sure.
I just need that little bit extra.
Okay.
But I will say that, I mean, nothing's wrong with it. It's not imbalanced. It just needs more. It needs a little bit of a reorganization. But the ideas that can come off of this concept are innumerable. Like, this is definitely something that
100%.
inspires a lot. I mean, even look at the chat that we had today. It inspired a lot of ideas. So I'm going to give it a solid 6 out of 10. It needs some work. I would definitely need to reorder it. I would probably add some abilities to beef it up.
I definitely thought you said pre-order it. Like, what is the new video game?
I would definitely pre-order it. I would add some beefiness to it, but overall, I love the idea. Definitely gets the inspiration point. It is definitely the direction of something that I would have in High Point. Like, the idea of someone going down and then being able to continue doing stuff is absolutely something in line with what I would want. It's just not doing enough for me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But there's nothing bad to say about it. There's nothing really bad other than its complexity. Other than its complexity and its lackluster end, those are the only two negatives I can give it.
Sure.
You know, it like I think you said it best. Top down, it makes perfect sense. But once you start to get through the progression, it just doesn't feel right. So yeah, I mean, it's there. The idea is there. Cosmic, just work it a little bit more. I don't know if you've got a chance to play test it, but play testing something like this, I think, would be really great to see where it really shines, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of, and then play testing it in more of a like a whole, like, you know, maybe a one-shot setting instead of just a combat. Because in combat, if it goes down, it's going to prove itself. But again, where is it building into the group, right? What role is it really filling in a party? Or is it, again, just a singular focused, like, assignment, right? Like I'm doing this just for me. But let us know, Cosmic, if you liked any of our ideas. I mean, hopefully you enjoyed the review as always. But let us know if you have, any rebuttals to our ideas, if you liked any of them, if you might use any of them. or any of the ones from chat. I mean, there was a lot of opportunities and a lot of suggestions there as well. Cosmic says that they like how, since this is the last homebrew review stream before Halloween, it's dealing with death and ghosts and such. I think that's also like that. Thematically very fitting for a Halloween time.
Big facts.
Good idea. I didn't even put that connection together. Thank you, Cosmic. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review. I think it's a phenomenal idea. It's absolutely killer what you're trying to do with this. Yeah, just give it a little bit more. Just you don't got to go buck wild with it, but you know,
we all know Cosmic can go buck wild if he wants to.
You know, give it a little bit more. Like, honestly, I would say, especially with the way that we've been talking about this, because the ghost doesn't need to be super, super strong, right? But I would love the capstone to basically be, when you come back up, the ghost stays on the battlefield with you.
That would be, you know, that would be kind of cool. Like, at least for like,
or being able to summon your ghost, like, again, at the cost of a death save. Like, you have one automatic death save until you take a long rest, but you can summon your ghost as an extra. Like, that would just be kind
of, or if you summon it early, you don't get it next time you go down, something like that.
Or I mean, if you wanted to flip some of the language to make that make more sense, like how do you summon your own ghost, change up the language. That Spirit Unbound, change it to that's your Valkyrie. Remember, you were sent back by a Valkyrie, and that Valkyrie is the one that stopped you from crossing the threshold. So why isn't it that every time you go down, the Valkyrie comes in? And basically they're there to protect your soul, right? From being taken to the afterlife. So why wouldn't the Valkyrie show up when you die? And they're the reason why you don't die. You know, and they would have like limitations on what they could actually do in the real world because they're there more for your spirit.
Sure.
But you could change that verbiage up to where the capstone could be you summon your Valkyrie to the field. Or you take the form of a Valkyrie. You know, something like there's kind of cool. There's a lot going on with this that I think that capstone has so much potential.
Yeah.
But it has to be more than role play. I don't mind what it gave. It's just that was not enough to call that done.
Sure.
Personally leaning towards the ghost not existing, like channeling the power of the patron, whether it's the Valkyrie of a hall itself, but to each their own. Yeah. What is Angela's ult in Marvel? I don't know Angela's ult. I haven't seen it yet.
Angela, basically, she is the first flying tank that we have. And so she's got this weird ability where not her ult, but her E will like slam down and create this little AoE on the ground that like damages enemies. And she can like walk around. This is the one flyer that can go from flying to walking. It's wild.
Interesting.
So her ult is basically that same little AoE, except she throws a javelin down in the center of it. That javelin connects to anybody in the area and it slows them down and it like tethers them to that point. So she can jump down to that area and just beat the dickens out of everybody that's in that area. It's kind of wild.
Ooh.
She's kind of crazy.
Another random idea, because now you got me thinking about Marvel Rivals. I was thinking like Doctor Strange being able to like, pump out your soul.
Oh,
what?
Yeah.
This would be, I think, a little bit too. Again, this would complicate it to the point of situationalism. But what if the idea is that when you're making death saves, you have a spirit, right? Like you're in the spirit world. You're basically like astral projecting. How cool would it be that while in that form, instead of attacking the regular enemies, you can attack the spirits of downed enemies to gain temporary hit points? So same thing, right? Like, so you're going down, you're making your death saves, but if another enemy had been downed or gets down during your turn, your spirit would be able to attack it with the 1d6. And basically while you're doing death saves, and then those would turn into temp HP because you're literally stealing life force from the recent
other spirits. Interesting.
That would be a little bit more situational because not all the time you're going to have downed enemies. But I mean, if you're going to go down, there's probably at least one or two downed enemies too. You know what I mean? It's very rare. It's a 5v1 and you're going down unless it's like a dragon. But
fair.
That would be kind of cool as you go down and your targets are because they don't have control over their spirits. So they would just be kind of like floating there waiting to be whisked away. And you can sit there and like maybe zap at them and be like, hey, I
like the idea just so that, well, I was gonna say like you let them do it the normal way, like you'll get HP from the other people, but from like actual people, but with those Oh, it would have to be this way. So when you attack normal people, you get max damage, but when you attack the spirits, you have to roll for the damage. So it would give you an advantage for attacking living people.
Oh, okay.
To make yourself visible, to make it
more of a chase.
Using
the invisibility.
So give it a little bit of like risk, because otherwise you'll just stay invisible, shoot all these things, get a bunch of HP, and why wouldn't I do that all the time?
Exactly.
You know. But again, but also when you do attack people, you would still have that opportunity just in case there isn't any corpses for you to use.
Right.
So it's not like you're just shit out of luck if there's no corpses.
Yeah, that's fair too. But yeah, just a different, concept, just a different idea for playing around. Again, this concept of playing around with death saving throw action economy, I love it. I love the idea of being able to use your death save. So I think turning death saves into an economy, like you said, having just an ability where anybody can burn a death save, so they can just basically for the next 24 hours or until you get a long rest, you'll have an automatic death save for the next 24 hours, but you get to do an extra action or an extra spell.
Yeah.
That I think is a cool concept. I think this idea of certain people when they're down, like again, even a whole subclass series where whenever they're down, their spirits come out or something happens and they're able to like do stuff.
Interesting.
Like imagine bards when they're down can still give inspiration.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
I can totally see that.
Clerics can still give guidance. Just stupid shit like that. Like while you're down, you can still ethereally, like again, so a subclass of bard would be that their ghost can give inspiration. A subclass for cleric would be that they'd be able to, give like guidance or spare the dying or something, but not to themselves, like only other people kind of thing.
Maybe even do a channel divinity, turn someone dead while they're down or something. Their holy symbol still glows or whatever. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I like the idea of every subclass could very easily have this, like I mean, hell, barbarians, their version of when they're making death save, getting hit while making death saves doesn't give you automatic negatives. Or it only gives you one instead of two.
Okay.
So you still, when you're down, you still have crit, like you're still auto crit. But instead of losing 2 death saves, you only lose 1 as a barbarian. Because again, you're just you're just able to handle it. So that could this concept of every class or subclass being able to get something that benefits them during their down time, I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. Very much a fan.
Yeah, there would just be really interesting ideas. Doesn't work with everybody easily, but there's some. Oh, that would be interesting. Like a rogue. There is whenever you go down and while you're making death saves, like when you went down, you were able to like booby trap yourself. So if anyone were to melee attack you, like the trap would go off and like either half damage would go back to them or an amount of damage would like also return to them kind of thing. So basically helping prevent you from getting hit while you're down.
Interesting.
So kind of like, they go over, they roll you over to hit you, and then like you roll over, but there's like a spring trap that you had on your body. So when they rolled you over, it goes off.
Oh,
and like shoots them with a bolt or something.
Wild.
Something like you do the same thing with a wizard, where when someone tries to hit them, they have like an automatic magic barrier that whenever they're unconscious, like if they get hit,
I mean they got plenty of what do you call them? Those wards that can like go off on specific situations or whatever. Like what the fudge is that called? Glyph of warding? Is it glyph of warding?
Yeah,
I think it's glyph of warding.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good deal.
So that would be a really cool concept too. But yeah, maybe that's what we'll talk about this Friday. Maybe we'll do another actual cool. Tangent topic, or maybe we'll just go back to just calling it D&D discussions and just rant a little bit more on these ideas.
Love it. Love it.
Kind of like, last Friday's topics, we'll go off and do a few things.
No, I am kind of mad I wasn't here for that, because I really, really liked a lot of those topics, and I would have loved to run through some of them with you.
Well, we'll do that this Friday. We'll circle back on some of those to see if I gave you the list in Discord. So if you think of any more, let us know. And then on Friday we'll open those up. Yes, Cosmic, thank you so much. You are always quite the inspiration. Your ideas definitely get the conversations going, which I like. It's not always fun to just be like, yeah, that's good, yeah, that's good, yeah, that's balanced, 9 out of 10.
Sure.
And it sucks to just be like, I don't like this too. Like, I really like those ones that I struggle to codify, because it's like with this one, there's nothing wrong about it. It just needs more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's all. Like, how do I codify that into how compatible is it? It's very compatible. It's just not complete compatible, right?
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. And yeah, the idea is that's what I think we just always wanted from this, is to have a community that was open to giving their own opinions so others could branch off, right? It's not about being right or wrong, but having those opportunities to be like, that's a cool idea, I'm going to go this direction with it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm
glad that you enjoy that.
I'm pleased with the inspiration. Like, I feel blessed to be able to be in a space where I get this kind of inspiration for free. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, people usually like have to go dig and look and find for this, but
people just send us shit. Like,
we have a community that like wants to share this stuff with us.
Free content generation for me. I mean, if people just send me new ideas and I just gotta sit there and go, ooh, iPoint could use something like that.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, I'm telling you, it is so cool. It is very cool. I love it.
No, it's phenomenal. And I think we are going to start doing maybe once a month doing reviews on Fridays.
Okay.
Because that is one of the questions in Discord right now. There are several polls that you can vote on in the polls channel in Discord that are directly related to the kind of content that we're going to start producing on Fridays, and what we want or what y'all want in the rotation. So make sure that you go to the polls channel and do your votes, because one of the options that has been voted on is to add homebrew review to the Friday rotation.
Yeah.
So it's not just once a week.
Cool.
So the more likely what it would look like is every Monday and maybe like the first Friday of the month would be homebrew review.
All right.
So then we at least do our normal 4 a month, but then we'll add a 5th one. And then, hopefully eventually Marvel Rivals will be part of that rotation, maybe a game night. Right. And then the other one would be, like, until Marvel Rivals is there, it's probably going to be a homebrew review, a D&D discussions, like just open topic, maybe like a gameplay night, and then that still leaves one other option.
Maybe we could do adding a creation in there.
Oh yeah,
we can cycle any one of the different types of creation things that we have.
Yeah, pop culture build, subletting subclass, do all of that kind of good stuff. Yeah, I think that's the new direction that we're going to start heading. I also have questions on there about what kind of content y'all want to see on YouTube. I do want to start going back to editing and getting some more content generated. So I'm curious what y'all watch. Do you watch just the VOD channel, just the shorts? Do you watch our edited content? And yeah, just feedback is always good, especially at this stage. I mean, we've been at it long enough. We know we're comfortable. We know what we want to do with it, but we're also at that stage where I really would want the community to let us know where they want next, because growth is hard and we can just keep, shooting in the dark and seeing if we get growth anywhere. But knowing what has been successful, I think, is going to be more important, right? Like, we know that homebrew review is successful, but there's so many things that we stopped doing. We stopped doing history ofs just because those weren't that popular. And so far the votes are showing that.
Sure.
But there are a couple of things that we have done in the past that we don't do anymore that people may want.
Sure.
Image to item. Like, image to item isn't a part of the votes, but no one seemed to really care about that one. But maybe that one's secretly like
a banger.
What people really liked on Fridays is us, creating items based off of images. So we really want y'all's feedback. And if there is something that you don't see in the polls that you want to suggest, that we do have a topics channel for topics you want to hear us talk about. We have a suggestions channel for improvements. And you can also just ping us in the main chat. Just ping one of us in the main chat and say, hey, have you guys thought about this? Like, we want y'all's feedback. We want to know what you want to watch. And we want to know what you guys find entertaining, because we want to do more of it. So if you're not part of the Discord, link is being dropped in the chat, and as well as our link to all of our other socials.
Come vibe with us, man.
We post every day on TikTok. We post on YouTube. And we just want to figure out what y'all want. So tell us what you want.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Tell me what you want.
But otherwise, that was a phenomenal episode 200.
Absolutely. No.
And review number 100. Holy
review
shit.
100. We are in the triple digits, y'all.
Think about it. You, the community, have sent us 100 submissions that we've reviewed. and we still have like at least a dozen on the ready. But that's it. I remember when we first talked about it, we were like at, I think 50 or 60 total reviews, and we only had like 20 or 30 submissions at the time. Like we had more, I think we were about 50-50 on submitted reviews versus regular things reviewed. And I remember having this conversation of like, oh, we're at like 60 or 70 total items, but only like 30-40 like actual submitted. And we had this conversation about like, hey, maybe when we get to 100, we'll revamp it. Like when we get to 100 submitted, we'll take out all of the old shit and I remember like that was so much of a, one of those days we'll get there. And here it is. We have the top 100 leader. Well, it's not the top 100 anymore.
It is our 100.
But
yeah.
The funny thing is starting to next Monday, officially next Monday, we will have a top 100.
True.
Like the leaderboard will officially be a top 100 because we'll have more than 100.
So wild. That's so wild.
That blows my mind that from here on out, we are only going to generate a top 100 list like increasingly.
That's clean.
Yeah,
That's so clean.
Cosmic's like 30 of those damn submissions.
I mean, if you want the technical breakdown,
what is the technical breakdown? At least who are the top 2 or 3 submission numbers?
Where's my references? There you are.
So I think this does mean that starting next month, now that we are going to have, or next week, now that we're going to have a top 100, I definitely need to work on getting a page on the website dedicated to the leaderboard. Well, yes, I want a good one that can be edited out, but I also want one that can just be displayed. So yeah, we'll I'll work on getting that.
So
I mean, the backlog is real, but that's why we're going to do more on Fridays.
There's only 23 in our backlog. We have 23 in our backlog, which is a decent amount.
Yeah, but it's from different people. It's usually from the same people, so it goes quick. Like they really cycle quick. But if we add it to the Friday, that'll be 5 reviews a month. We'll get through them a lot better.
Yeah. The most submissions that we reviewed, 27. Cosmic.
27 out of 100. Cosmic.
27.
Was Cosmic our first official community review?
Yeah, for sure.
So Cosmic was our first and our 100th. So congratulations, Cosmic. You were number 1 and 100.
First review from a community member was the Robe of Accumulative Knowledge.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Way
that was back before. That was back before we had the formatting.
Yeah,
I think that was in the middle of a regular episode.
It was.
I think that was
very much was.
There was just a regular episode.
I don't think I was there for that episode.
Yeah, but because before that it was the high lows. I was doing high low from D&D Beyond before that. So I was finding like non-community because I can't remember what the very first item was reviewed, but I can't remember if that was. I don't remember if it was by. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. I remember I was doing other reviews at the time.
Yeah,
but Cosmic wants to know who's number 69. 23 is still like 4 months. Hey, I mean, we're trying though. We're trying, and maybe on Fridays we'll do more than one. Maybe because we can go later on Fridays.
Sure.
Maybe Mondays will still be our 1 review, and then Friday maybe we'll try to do 2. So that way we'll get 6 a month. Like we'll do the best we can to.
Guess what number 69 is?
Which is
the Twin String Bling.
Twin String Bling.
Yes. Twin String
Another
Bling
Cosmic
compound bow.
So it's you, Cosmic. You are 169 and 100.
Wild. But the other top submitters that we have 14 from Hecate.
Wow, Hecate beat Pokeniner?
No. Oh, Pokeniner?
Wow.
Pokeniner has 13.
Okay, I was gonna say, damn, Hecate. I didn't realize Hecate was
Desmar
like.
has 12.
I knew all of them were like neck and neck, but damn, I didn't realize. Now, because once we got that that homebrew book, that the homebrewery book, that was crazy.
That's just what's been reviewed. The unreviewed, I will say Hecate has 6 that are unreviewed. Pokeniner has 2 that are unreviewed, and Desmar's got like 9 that are unreviewed.
But we did just get through a couple of the showcases from Des.
Yes,
so
yes.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, congratulations, Cosmic. I am glad that you are excited about that. You're basically all over the leaderboard. So
big fan.
But hey, you know what? It was so funny though because there's a lot of people who are trying to beat
Yep.
Cosmic's submissions. So they're catching up. They are catching up.
I will ask this to you, Vortex, as well as the community. Number one, you guys can go check out the leaderboard and you guys can look at these things.
Yes,
Cosmic
you guys
had
have
mentioned-
access to the leaderboard.
Cosmic mentioned to me that there was issues with the leaderboard. I got those fixed. So you guys should be able to go check
It's
those
just
out.
not on the website yet, but through Discord, if you go to the schedules channel, there is a link to the leaderboard on the schedules channel.
But tell me if you guys would actually appreciate, want, and look at a stats page where you guys can go all these things that we're talking about, how many submissions that you've put in, how many submissions.
Oh, just like a quick, like a snippet.
What your averages are, like if you could like select somebody's name and just see that person's stats.
That's where I went on the website. Like that's where the UI is going to be. So you can go on the website, not just filter it, but you could just type in your username, and it would just like auto generate. And then like if you're going to do that feature, it would auto also generate stats as well as your list, right? Like there's a filter list. But then there's specifically, if you type in someone's name, it'll also generate like that little window stat. I love that idea.
Okay.
I think I can't imagine anybody would not want their stats, like.
Sure.
Like how many, like, especially being able to just put your name in and say like, oh, I've submitted, 32, but I've only had 26 reviewed. And you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So you can also know that and then see a quick list and then even be able to show them the list of like, well, don't want to show unless when we do the member login, we could add in you can see your unsubmitted or your unreviewed items if they've been submitted. Like once you've formatted them.
Oh, yeah.
So people like, so like Soul would or Cosmic would be able to log in on the member side and see, oh, here's all the ones I've submitted and been reviewed. But because you're logged in, then it would appear, oh, here's the ones that have been. I can
show the names of the ones that haven't been reviewed yet if they want to just know what they're called.
I just figure it would be better to like, because again, we don't want to like, the leaderboard's what's been done, not necessarily what's coming up. Sure. So I think just for the individuals, like on the back end, once you're formatted, you would just be able to assign who it is.
Mm-hmm.
So on the website, they would just be able to see if they're logged in, which ones haven't been reviewed yet. Because we've had that question before of, oh, how many, which ones have I given you already?
Sure.
So that way they'd be able to do that. And then maybe there'll be an easier submittal, from the website.
Oh, okay.
So they could be like, oh, there's the ones I've already submitted. Well, here's 3 more.
Cool.
How easy would it be? Would it just be like add file from just add file from desktop? They just give us the file through the website. You get an email, and then you just push it through, so you don't have to worry about copying and pasting from Discord anymore.
That's true.
It'd be a little bit more.
I will say, like even if it is, we can do that. You can either add a file or you can send a link, and like both of those things just get emailed straight, and then we'd be able to go from there.
Too easy.
That would be easy.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I mean, I've been trying to think about things I want to do on the website, but it's like I could have the members site, but there's nothing for members to do on there. So I'm waiting for that, so I need to generate all of these ideas to implement before there's a benefit to actually like having a members site, right?
Sure.
So we'll figure out all of that. Cosmic has some work in progress items. Way of the Magic Matrix, a new monk subclass.
Magic Matrix.
Melodious Rapture, which is a 9th level.
You better give them bullet time
spell.
if you're gonna put Matrix in that name.
that would be very interesting. Melodious Rapture, which is a 9th level bard spell.
Oh, Melodious Rapture, interesting, very interesting.
Cleric subclass called Shrine Maiden. Wonder where that's from.
No, I know that.
Elden Ring. Isn't it? Is that?
There's definitely a Shrine Maiden in Elden Ring, but I know that like as a D&D subclass. Why does that sound so familiar?
You have all of the D&D knowledge on your phone right in front of you. You should.
No, but like,
I've never heard of Shrine Maiden. Not from D&D. And we have Tales of the Kitsune, which is a wondrous item.
Okay.
So
I look forward to these submissions, Cosmic.
Get them in, Cosmic. Get them in.
Hooking it up.
All right. Well, that was our review today. If anybody has any questions or anything, topics they'd want to hear us chat about real quick, let us know. Otherwise, we will probably be cutting it because I have to go shopping still.
Fair enough.
Go grocery shopping.
Fair
so
enough.
late, but I got to go do it. Hecate has 2 classes with 3 subs for each that are just about ready. Ooh, but they're saving that for next year.
Okay.
Fresh submissions for the year.
Man.
Let's do it.
I'm so happy that I have been able to find a decent way to streamline a lot of this homebrew review process, because it's enabling me to work a lot better with the large amounts of input that I'm receiving from you guys. So please keep it coming. You guys are pushing the innovation in ways that I incredibly appreciate, and hopefully this website's going to come out and start looking beautiful. We're gonna have all of the elements, the pieces, the add-ons. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah, it's a very empty website right now, but it's there. That's what matters.
Facts. No, we're freaking getting it, man.
All right, y'all. Well, if that's everything, I hope you all enjoyed the review for today. It was phenomenal. Cosmic, again, thank you so much for the intricate idea. I do hope you continue to work on that and let us know. But please submit, more of your guys' stuff. If you have anything that you want us to review on Mondays, please do so. We will be adding review into the Friday rotation. I don't know if we're going to be starting that in November or starting at the turn of the year. Kind of just depends on how our schedules align and how much we want to get through now, but that will be coming soon. We will be running a contest here soon as well. I'm trying to figure out whether it would be good for like the holidays, or if we again should wait for the turn of the year, wait for things to calm down and then do something. But we do want to do a homebrew contest where we will set, similar to the subclass showdown, but we will set a theme and a parameter for everyone to build off of. We will give it a certain amount of time, and then we will do a very special stream where we go over everybody's submissions. I will give it a rank or a score. Kage will give it a score, and chat will give it a score. So it'll be best 2 out of 3 per round, and then we will hopefully, similar to subclass showdown, do 3 rounds. So then that way every item will get, an individualized, best out of 3 times.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll have like a tiered like system to where if 2 are getting, the same score, what I'm thinking of is the first rounds are like out of 5, right? So everyone just out of 5,
sure.
For whatever the categories. And if there's any tiebreakers, then we do similar votes, but out of 10. And then we dial in those exact numbers.
Okay.
So that way we'll have most likely a cash prize for that contest. So that's why we're also trying to figure out exactly when the best time to do that is. But if you are interested in that will be available to anybody. So it won't be like a sub only thing. It'll be open up to anybody. It'll be pretty easy at first. I think we're thinking not like, we're not going to do like a race or a subclass just yet. It'll be something a little bit easier, but it will be heavily themed. And we'll have a couple specifics that we'll be looking for. So we'll make sure all of that's known. We'll figure out exactly how to get everybody involved, figure out exactly how we want people to be able to participate and how they want to, do things. But yeah, I'm hoping that will be a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do some kind of contest or a giveaway. I mean, we did a giveaway at the subathon, which was really nice, but I really have been wanting to do like some sort of contest and get people to, generate some stuff. I think this will be the first one we do as a homebrew. And then if it's successful and we get enough interest in it, I think that the next one will be maybe, I don't know, I'd love to do an artwork one sometime. Like I'd love to do an artist contest.
That would be very
not
cool.
Everybody is great with art, so it kind of dilutes the pool of how many people might be interested. But everybody can do their own homebrew, especially if it's going to be like something simple like an item or a spell or a weapon. Depending on what we choose. It should be pretty straightforward, and it should be, as long as you match the theme, you can kind of be as extravagant or as basic.
I don't know how
because as long as you hit the ideas.
But like for something like this, especially if it's for homebrewers, I was even thinking about having like a homebrew role for the Discord, and so like calling all homebrewers, like specifically people that have submitted homebrews to us before.
At least, at least them.
Just to see if they're interested in participating in whatever it is, if they have any creative juices, or maybe they already have something that fits the theme and they can just submit that, so
absolutely. So keep in mind, or keep an eye out for that in the Discord. We will be making posts about the contest coming up as soon as we figure out what the prize will be and whether it will be a winner take all, whether it will be a tiered prize.
Sure.
Maybe we'll figure out a way to do a first, second, third. We're not exactly sure about that, but yeah, been wanting to do it for a long time. I think it'll generate some good buzz, and I think it'll just be a really great opportunity for a stream. I think it'll just be so much fun to just sit down and go through a whole bunch of submissions from people.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be phenomenal.
fucking love it.
So join us back on this Friday. We'll be back with more tangent topics, so more D&D discussions and open topics. If you have anything that you want to hear us talk or rant about, definitely bring those ideas to us on Friday. You don't have to post them in the Discord, but you can, and give us a heads up, or you can just show up on Friday and give us more details.
Yep.
But otherwise, we are going to call it here. Again, Cosmic, thank you so much for your submission. It was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, everybody, for commenting in. Hecate, Serotonin, Codex, thank you so much for all of your advice and your opinions. It's always great to see everybody come together and collab on these ideas. That's why we do this every single Monday. Absolutely. And why we will be bringing it to Friday streams as well.
Yep.
But other than that, that's going to be us for the rest of the night. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend, and I hope you have a great week ahead of you. Thank you so much for joining us on episode 200, review number 100.
Woo-hoo!
We ain't going nowhere. We're going to continue this. So
That's
again,
right.
Thank you all for your support and your continued presence. It really does help, and it really does make it easier for us to show up every single week. So again, thank you so much. It's been an amazing 200 episodes. So here's to 200 more.
Amen. That's right.
We'll see you all on Friday. Cheers.
Deuces.